Getting ready for end of financial year tip number 5 on debtors. Do you need to write off any unpaid sales invoices to bad debts this year? So first I suggest you have a look at your aged receivables report, receivables being your debtors. See as to whether or not you've got any really old invoices. I've got a really old one here from TBS Building, 10th of April 18, and I have tried my very best to recover that monies and have had no success. Debt collectors have been called in. I've made a number of emails and still can't call the money in. And so I'm going to write that off to bad debts. Now, what you need to do to be able to write something off to bad debts is you need to go into your chart of accounts first and check under your expense tab as to whether you have a bad debts account. If you don't, you need to create one. An expense. We're going to call it 6 code bad debts. It will be GST on expenses, and it's sales invoices to write off to bad debts. Enable payments to the account. It's important that you tick that box. So we have the code taken, a unique code, a unique name we must have, so let's call it bad debts 2 for now. Okay, so now we go back into the actual sales invoice that's owing, and we can do it a couple of ways. We can either pay it against the bad debts account, or we can raise a credit note dated today's date. I actually generally like to date it the 30th of June, put bad debts in the reference, and also change the account to bad debts. And this actually clears bad debt off your receivables report. So the amount that you're showing is the genuine amount that is owing to the company. And this is important to do before the 30th of June each year. And the reason for that is because you pay company tax based on the profits made during the year, which is includes any income that you've raised throughout the year, regardless of whether you've received the funds or not. So if you are never going to receive the funds, write it off as at the end of the year. But do note that the ATO are cracking down on items written off to bad debts, and that in the event of an audit, you may need to demonstrate that you have made attempts to recover the monies before you actually write them off. And that's tip number 5, debtors.